Well, hello. I thought I might just come on here just to break some news because I did a show earlier on the other channel, Southern Truth, where it's not drama filled, not anything to do with the granny fluid or any of that. But there are certain people that I used to know, and I have been on this show of YT Court in the past, and they came over and put some stuff in the chat room, tried to persuade the episode in a different direction. And basically, one of the things that was said, and I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm going to be saying this. Scotty Karate came over to Southern Truth channel earlier tonight and left comments in the chat room about Eric Spitfire Wilkinson. And one of the things that he said in the chat room was that Eric Spitfire Wilkinson is now on Unalive Watch. Now, I don't know if this is true or not, and quite frankly, what does it have to do with me? First and foremost, I want to say this. I don't wish harm or death on anybody, let alone Eric. But if this is just shit that's being stirred up and it's not true, but then the people that are spreading this information and it's now coming back to me after so many months, maybe over a year or two of me not being associated with Eric, why now people are still trying to feed me some bullshit when I'm focusing on other things and also focusing on my own health? I don't wish any harm. I don't wish death. I don't wish anything on a person who I used to associate with, or indeed, do I wish any harm or death on anybody that I might dislike? That's the least thing I want to do. But let's put the reality into this. What does this Eric being on Unalive Watch got anything to do with me, if it's true? I'm not saying it's true. It's just been relayed to me by Scotty Karate. Now, why would Scotty Karate say this shit? Got nothing to do with me. What can I do? In hindsight, what can I do? If it's a way to get me to get back into associate, no. I wipe my hands off that. I'm not getting back with Eric. For those people that still thinking that I'm going back to Eric or doing shows with it, no. Get that out of your fucking system. Get out of that your fucking mindset. It ain't happening. I've got other things to do. I've got other things I'm working on and whatnot. But if this is just a bullshit story, just try to twine myself back into that, no. It ain't happening. And then there was another thing saying that, Damien's not a true co-host and you're the co-host, you're this, you're that. Well, so be it. I don't know what goes on over there. I don't know what's been said. I don't know what's been going on. I've been focusing on my own shit. I don't go into the drama's fucking channel. I don't pay attention. But yet it's still being relayed back to me on the other channel when I'm doing a completely different thing, doing crime, going on the ground, looking for people that had been abducted and whatnot. I've been doing the live streams, and yet bringing an awareness to people searching for answers, searching for clues in that case, and yet I get people from the granny fluid coming over, still relaying me messages in the chat room about Eric this and Damien that and blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I used to associate with them. Big fucking deal. I don't associate with them now. Why give me an update of what's going on? But deep down, I ask the question. Those that are spreading this stuff, is it true? Is it true that Eric is on Unalive Watch? Does anybody know? Does anybody in the Granny Fluid drama fest, is it true that Eric is on Unalive Watch? Is it true? I know you're watching. Put a comment in the chat room. It's an open fucking forum here. No one's been blocked. Has anybody else heard about Eric being on Unalive Watch? Because this just came out recently, earlier tonight. And why would Eric be on Unalive Watch? Why would Scotty Karate came over to Southern Truth Channel and drop it in the chat room when I was doing a complete other fucking show? I know that Scotty Karate and Eric had a problem. I know that Eric wanted to sign a fucking waiver or trying to sign a fucking contract to have a fucking fight with Scotty Karate. That's got nothing to do with me. That's between them two. Been going on for 3 years now. But why would Scotty Karate come over and say that Eric is on Unalive Watch? I'm not going to say the S word because YouTube don't like that fucking shit. But why would Scotty Karate say this shit? Because he's a troublemaker? Trying to stir up some shit? Trying to stir up some more drama? Why? Come on, Scotty. Say it out loud. Why would you say this if it's not true? There are people in the real world that are indeed in Unalive Watch. But why would you say that Eric is done under that conditions? Why, if it's not true? Now, I don't know if it's true or not. It's, quite frankly, it's got nothing to do with me. And I'll put it honestly. We know that Eric has done a lot of damage in several people's lives, both here on the internet and in person himself. There is a time and a place when consequences do eventually catch up with people. And if this is the case, well, then Eric is going to face his consequences. But I don't wish death or harm on him. What I will say is, if it's indeed true, he put himself in this situation. And the only person that can get himself out of that situation is him. But I don't know if it's true or not. Do I care? Well, of course I care on people. But I don't care in that type of sense. If you get what I'm saying, I don't care of what he does, what he's doing, or anything like that. And if it is true, well, I hope he gets better. I hope he comes out the other side as a better person. And I just don't know. There had been other people that been in the same situation that people are quite aware of. Now, could it be a possibility that this could be a LARP? A PSYOP? It has happened before. It happened several times before in the past. Is this just a game of cat and mouse? Let's be honest here. Now, I'm not getting into the drama, but you guys obviously fucking live it every single day, and you're feeding it back to me when I'm doing another fucking show. And I've got nothing to do with you guys and girls. I say this. You do what you want to do. You got a life to live. If that's what you want to do it. I don't have to be associated with it. We all have a life to live. If you want to be in that drama, if you want to be feeding bullshit to your circle, do it. Don't need my help. You do it quite well on your own. But many people's lives have been destroyed in the process, mentally. And I'm not using mental illness as an excuse. There's no justification in that. But if you get fucking shit upon you and the weight gets put onto you and you feel pressured all the time, you can't get out of the situation, well, eventually you're going to snap, aren't you? So let's go back to the original question. Is this indeed true, or is this bullshit about Eric? And why will Scotty Karate come out and say this shit? He's the one that said it in my chat room. I don't communicate with Scotty Karate, but he made himself to come over to Southern Truth while I was doing a completely different show on the missing Beaumont children that happened here in 1966. And talking about true crime and that. And one of the very first things to say that Eric is on Unalive Watch. Why would you say that to me when I've got nothing to do with Eric? But I was friends with Eric in the past. Yes, of course. I've known Eric on a little bit of a personal level in the past. However, what does anything Eric does have to do with me? What he does from when I left to now? What has anything that Eric does in his personal life got anything to do with me? I'm not his minder. I'm not his keeper. He can do whatever he wants to do. As long as he doesn't harm people, he can do whatever he wants. But is it true that he's in Unalive Watch? I don't know. Some people are saying this shit. So, Scotty Karate, why are you saying this shit if it's not true? And if it is true, I hope Eric comes out the other side to be a better person. Because sometimes you've got to face a rock bottom in your life and you pull yourself out of it and you become a better person. And I have said this previously. Eric got himself in some situations in his life, therefore he's got to get himself out of it. And unfortunately, when time catches up to you, consequences also catches up. And there is a consequence in life. But I don't wish harm or death on him. I don't wish harm and death on anybody. But why would somebody say this shit if it's not true? I just can't wrap my head around it. And why come to me for? Why come to me for it? I remember the time when the shit with Eric and Becky Dean. I remembered that shit like it was yesterday. And all the fucking joking around, unaliving and shit like that. Yeah? Is this what coming back is like? You're making a joke about Eric trying to unalive himself, and then you're coming to me about this? I want no part of it. However, I wish him well. I wish he can rise above this if it's true. I'm not saying it's true because I don't fucking know if it's true and I don't want to know. But I'm asking the person that relayed this to me in the chat room, why would you come to me for if it's true or not true? Why come to me for? What, to keep me on my toes so I can be aware that, quite frankly, I don't want to know. Leave me out of it. And that's the only reason why I'm back on here, just to say this, because it's serious if it's true or if it's not true. Because there is a law out there called slander. And if you're misrepresenting something that's not true, therefore, whoever the person that you're speaking about in a serious situation like unaliving themselves or self-harming themselves, and indeed if that's not true, the person who's making the statement, like Scotty Karate, will be held liable if the person's willing to do it. Now, I'm not giving advice for Eric. He can do whatever he wants to do. But what come to me for? What you want me to do about it? Seriously. I don't have Eric's phone number. I'll communicate with him. Why do I reach out to him for? Just going to be old, same old, same old. I wipe my hands off him, but I wish him well. I don't wish any self-harm on him. I don't wish anything in that nature whatsoever. Just get on with life. However, for those that seem to know Eric, he had done some shit in his life, and there is a time when the consequences does start to come and catches up with you. But who knows what's really going on? Only Eric does. But does anybody else know? Has anybody else heard this? Because I can say this is fucking news to me. And I'm taking it as a grain of salt. But I'm still asking a fucking question. Why would you come and say this shit to me for? Why? So you can lure me back into that little realm? It ain't going to happen. It ain't going to happen. And if some people say that was for entertainment purposes only, you're fucking kidding yourself. You don't spread false rumors and false accusations on people. You'll pay the consequence. Now, yeah, Eric had done some shit in his life, and I know this. I was part of it. And I've seen it firsthand. I've seen it behind the screen. I've seen everything. Doesn't make me a perfect angel. So I've done some shit too. Doesn't make me a perfect angel. Never said I was an angel. But you don't go out of your way and fucking lie about somebody trying to unalive themselves if it's not true. I've seen the psyops before. I've seen the unalive lark before. I've seen it. I know the people that were involved. I saw it unfold behind the scenes. However, earlier tonight, Scotty Karate came into my chat over in Southern Truth and just dropped it in the chat room. Live. Well, I have other watchers and listeners who've got no part in the drama field. They watch my show due to the true crime, right? And they giving me messages after the show. What the fuck was going on in that? I don't know. You try to jeopardize and try to sabotage my show, it ain't gonna work. And quite frankly, I don't fucking care if you are, because there is a button called the block button, but I didn't press the block button. I just let it go and just seeing in the chat room just Scotty Karate saying this about Eric and Damien and a few other people. And I'm saying, man, do it on your own show, man. But I know this in the past. Scotty been caught out several times of being a liar, a manipulator, and he's not the only one. Now, am I saying that Scotty Karate's a liar in this case? I don't fucking know. All I know is that he came to the chat room and just dropped that Eric was in on a live watch, that he went there. I don't know. Now, why would Scotty Karate say this if it's not true? Why? Because he still has a beef with Eric? I don't know. I thought they were fucking buddies. They were on panels together and talking shit and smacking other people. Because that's what they do. I don't know. I don't watch this shit. But why come to me about it? The only one that really knows about it will be Eric himself, if it's true. Quite frankly, I don't even know if Eric's channel is still up, or if he created a new channel. I don't know. I don't care. I don't watch his shit. I'm not here with a remote control just fucking jumping on every single fucking channel to say what they say and what they do and what they record. I don't give a shit. But why come to me for it after so fucking long of not being in association with Eric? Why come to me out of the blue stating about Eric being on a live watch? Do you know for certain that he is? Or you heard this along the grapevine by another person that's spreading shit? I don't know. Now, some people will say if it's true, yeah, they'll be cheering for it. Don't lower yourself to that standard. You might have problems with Eric. You might have fucking shit about Eric. But don't lower yourself to the standard where you cheer on death of somebody. That's the worst thing you can fucking do. But unfortunately, it comes to a time when only the person can help themselves. No one else can help them. They've got to help themselves. And maybe, just maybe, if it is true, maybe this is the rock bottom that Eric needs in his life. Now, don't misinterpret what I just said about rock bottom. I don't wish harm or death on anybody. I've had certain rock bottoms in my life in the past, and I'm talking about 20 years ago or more. When everything is taken away from you and all you've got is four walls, and you're hearing your own voice. You got no one else to talk to, no one else to look upon. And all you've got is four walls in an empty room. And it's only you and you alone. I needed that rock bottom to be the person who I am today, which is a better person than I was 20 plus years ago. Maybe, if it's true, in regard to Eric, what Scotty Karate has said in the chat room in Southern Truth earlier tonight, maybe, just maybe, this is the rock bottom that Eric needs. But don't misinterpret what I said. I don't wish harm or death on anybody. If it's true, take this as a statement, what I'm about to make. if it's true, Eric has got himself into serious situations. Even when I was around him, and even before I knew him and after I left, he got in some circumstances and situations that only he can own up to. Nobody else, only he can own up to it and face it himself. Therefore, he's only got himself to turn to. And if he is indeed a spiritual man, and I don't know if he is or not, he say he is, but I don't know if he really is or not. If he is a spiritual man, well, he needs his higher power to lean on him and to guide him with strength, with compassion, and whatnot. But you have to understand, Eric put himself in situations, therefore he's got to get himself out of it and be a man. And I hope he becomes a better person. Otherwise, if you just keep repeating and repeating, you're going to find situations, if it's true, what Scotty Karate is saying, unalive watch. Now, if it's true, what crime did he commit to get into? It might not have to be a crime. Did he really go off the deep end with substance abuse, both alcohol and drugs? I know he likes to drink. I know he likes to smoke a little bit of grass. But with other substance, I don't know. As far as I know, when I was associated, I didn't see any other substance besides alcohol and grass. That's just what I saw. But off camera, I don't know. When he was doing his own stuff, I don't know. But why is an unalive watch if it's true? Did he have a marriage breakdown? Did he lose everything? Did he go completely psycho? I don't know. Only Scotty Karate saying this, that he's on unalive watch. I don't know. But part of me is saying, why would you say this shit if it's not true? Because you're only causing more fucking harm than good in reality. And quite frankly, what does it have to do with me? But I thought you, Jamie, was all about humanitarian, and I am. I don't wish harm or death on anybody. But in reality, what do you want me to do about it? I'm not a savior. It's out of my control. It's out of my hands. He needs to rely on his own higher power, and he needs to rely on himself. The only way he can get out of it, this mess, is himself. If it's true, and I want to make that perfectly clear, if it is true, because right now I'm just touching it with a pinch of salt because I don't think it is fucking true. I think this is a psyop that people are trying to come to me with this information to lure me back into this fucking shit fest and trying me to be in that association once again. It ain't going to happen. You might say I'm full of shit, Jamie, that you will. Okay. People like you wish that I had COVID. I never got COVID. And you're still waiting that I get sick. So you can be waiting and wishing for a very, very long time that I get back with Eric. Because it ain't going to happen. He's got his own life to live. I've got my own life to live. But I don't wish harm or death on him. I wish him well. He's got his own pathway to lead. Doesn't need me holding his hand. Just the same, I don't need him holding my hand. I've got my own pathway to lead. If he wants to do this type of shit by destroying people's lives on the internet and whatnot, well, that's on him. It's got nothing to do with me. He will pay the consequences eventually. And just remember, there's a time and a place for everything. It will eventually catch up with you in the end. But why would you, Scotty Karate, come to me out of the blue and say it? What was the importance of this? What was the relevance of this? Do I need to know about this? No, I don't. But why? Because you wanted to sabotage my episode earlier tonight on Southern Truth? You wanted to stir up some shit, some drama? Try to create viewership for my channel? I don't need fucking help. When will people get it? I don't care if only one people watch it or fucking thousands of people. I don't care. It's not a popularity contest. But why would you come to me out of a year plus of me not being associated with Eric, say that Eric is on Unalive Watch? Is it because your character assassinating him that you wish that he does it? That you want him to be gone? I don't know. I don't know what goes in your mind. I'm not a mind reader. But why come to me for? I've got no part to play. I've got no skin in the game. But I'll say this. I hope he's well. I hope he comes out of the other side. If it's true. If it's true. And that's a big fucking question mark, if it's true. And if it's not true, well, you're just the biggest bullshit artist in the world. But I'm still puzzled why you come to me about it. Speaking among your group that hangs around you. Because it's got nothing to do with yours truly. Had you reached out to any of his other associates from the past? Had you reached out and said that Eric is on Unalive Watch? Of his past associates like Laurie, like Mike Soror? You've been to Brenda? Have you been to anybody else? Have you even been to Damien? Did they know that he's on Unalive Watch, Scotty Karate? Because if you haven't, then why come to me for? Shouldn't you go to the one closest to him? What I mean by closest, the one that lived in the same country as him, rather than jumping across the other side of the world when yours truly went live earlier tonight and said that Eric is on Unalive Watch. But did you reach out to his previous associates as well before coming to me? that Eric is on Unalive Watch? Or you just came to me and thought, oh, this will be easy? Because you don't bullshit about this. When someone wants to unalive themselves, you don't want to go around the fucking grapevine spreading shit. You keep it under wraps and you just play it by ear. And if you are a spiritual person, pray for him or her. But if it's not true, you're the piece of scum. Now, don't misinterpret what I'm saying. I'm not backing Eric in anything. And I'm not making excuses for Eric on anything either. But if this is not true, that Eric is in Unalive Watch, then the person who made that statement in my chat room is the scum of the earth. Because to me, that tells me that person wished harm on the other person. Just like it was when the situation with Becky Dean many years ago. Just like the Mark Connor situation. Oh, we're bringing that up. Yeah. The suicide life of Mark Connor. I know I was there. This isn't a fucking game. Lives do get destroyed. And if people want to keep playing this fucking game, it's going to come back onto you. Not going to come back onto me, because there's a time and a place for everything. Consequences will fucking catch up to you in the end. And that's why I keep saying, I don't wish death and I don't wish harm on fucking Eric. I don't wish death or harm on anybody. Even if I dislike you, I don't wish that. But you don't go around making false allegations about somebody being in an Unalive Watch if it's not true. And if it is true, well, you just hope and pray that the person comes out of it the other end, well and alive, and becomes a better person in their life, rather than going back to the same old shame old, like a merry-go-round. But you just cannot, out of the blue, come to me after a long period of time of not even associating with the person, come onto my other channel earlier tonight when I'm doing a completely different show about true crime, and the very first thing you fucking say is that Eric has been Unalive Watch. Why would you say this shit for? Why? Because I'm treating it as I always do. I'm treating it like it's a fucking game of cat and mouse. And people get fucking caught up with it and they get their fucking lives destroyed by it. And how they destroy their life is their mentality plays on them, and they either turn towards substance abuse to numb the pain. The next minute they're in rehab or they unalive themselves. But why would you fucking do this shit? Why? It's beyond me. It is beyond me. So, Scotty Karate, just answer these two questions. How do you find about this if it's true? Or if someone told you that this was going on? Second thing, do you wish harm or death on Eric? Yourself? You did say you can see if you can jeopardize Southern Truth Channel so I can whittle my way back into association with Eric. And last and foremost, what come to me after all this time? After all this fucking time, and me doing my own thing, they doing your own thing, you doing your own thing, why after all this fucking time to come to me like it's a fucking psyop and announce it to my other audience who was in the chat room too that Eric was on a live watch? Only you can answer these questions, Scotty, because you're the one that said it. Nobody else. And I know what you do, Eric. Not Eric. I know what you do, Scotty. You like to create shit. You like to create drama. But you did say in the chat room as well that you're a changed person. You need to get runs on the board first for me to actually believe that you're a changed person. And like I said to you on Southern Truth, if you are a changed person, good for you. Keep going. Keep it up. But don't get me involved with this fucking shit, because you have indeed been called out by several people that you are a shit stirrer and that you are a complete fucking liar. I even called you out many times previously on here. Eric has called you out. Several people have called you out. But I don't wish harm or death on you, do I? Like I say this before I wrap it up. There's a time and a place for everything. And if you are involved in fucking shitful activity, consequences do catch up with you eventually. So, Scotty Karate, I hope you can answer those questions. And if Eric if it's true, I pray for you. I hope you get better, and I hope you become a better man. But if it's not true, the only person that can make adjustments is Scotty Karate, because he's the one that fucking said this shit. I don't believe bullshit. Therefore, Scotty Karate, you're the only person who can own up to this, not me. We'll see you when I see you, if I see you.